delegate in your country on March 29, 2020, there was a change in the framework of FIRB, which resulted to some human rights violation. Would you like to tell the committee your opinion that why did the framework started to violate human rights, and how do you ensure that won't hurt the migrants or refugees?
So, see, the main reason we have changed this now is due to the spread of this pandemic. It's not, we can't deal with this in the normal procedure. So we have to change it. And I'm pretty sure after the subsiding of this pandemic, this will be reverted back to normal according to the interests of migrants and citizens.
Please to follow up.
Yes, delegate.
One of the changes in the framework was that priority will be given to the applications that protect and support Australian citizens. Won't that mean that it will affect the migrants or refugees without the status of citizenship, and you're denying them employment?
Actually, in a way we are, because citizens are our priority, because they have born in Australia and they contribute to Australia.
Please to follow up.
Delegate, I'm sorry, denied. Delegate of Syria, your GSN. Delegate of the Syrian Arab Republic, your GSN.
Yeah, recent events shed light on the growing numbers of refugees displaced by conflicts around the world. The influx of Syrian refugees to Europe is currently in the spotlight, but every year the United Nations High Commission on Refugees places thousands of people displaced by civil conflict or natural disaster, which may be related to one another in refugee camps across the globe. Not only refugees are a burden, rather they are a welfare-enhancing asset. The earlier a state commits to protecting refugees, the earlier they can move forward with their lives without uncertainty blocking the way. Most importantly, accepting them protects the most precious right of all, the right to life. Turning our back to refugees in many cases could be fatal for them as well as for their origin country. Thus, accepting refugees providing the most basic protection is in many cases life-saving. Accepting refugees is also a good choice for the receiving country and communities that host them. By providing them with the right to work, to health and to education, refugees can start productive lives in their host countries. The faster they can integrate into the labor force, the faster they can become productive member of the society. Most migration economists agree that the presence of more foreigners in the labor force does not hurt natives, mainly because natives and foreigners typically have a different set of skills. They bring a different set of skills than natives, which can be key to creating business networks and knowledge diffusion. Though it will take time, but it's still a long-term progress for the host country.
So basically the threats of the migrant workers in the camps are when proper sanitization is not there, the distribution of food is not proper, and social distancing is not maintained. So these all things need to be taken care of. So it is needed that the food is properly distributed, which in Singapore is properly doing. The sanitization and the social distancing is also being taken care of. So the migrants are basically in a environment where it is possible to be corona free. So Singapore has excelled in the isolation of the migrant workers.
Is that it?
Singapore? Any other point you want to any other point to be like?
No, that's it.
Questions to the delegate of Singapore. Alright, before we entertain questions, guys, the topic is threats to human rights violation in conflict zones with respect to COVID-19 case studies. Right. Just try to bring in the agenda, right? Right. Questions to the delegate of Singapore. No questions whatsoever. Delegate of Australia, any questions? Your camera's off. Seeing none, we will move to the speech of the delegate of Mexico. You have 60 seconds.
The delegate of Mexico believes that Mexico is making sure that no human rights is being violating. Everyone is being treated equally, whether it is women or men's. And then the second issue comes when people report that they are not able to reach to hospitals, like ambulance don't come in time, we make sure that there are proper functioning and proper connection of the people with the ambulance and to the hospital, and people get connected, and keeping in mind the safety and the sanitation of the refugees and migrants, we have even made sure that there are proper washrooms and other drinking facilities, so that people don't have to wait or and have to stand in lines to get their turn and to do things, whether they are provided with all facilities freely. Like in Myanmar, women have to wait till night just to go to use the restrooms at the refugee camps. We are making sure that such problems are not faced by the Mexican citizens. Thank you. So I basically meant that overcrowding is one such thing, and many other things such as sanitation. So keeping in mind you does not have such a good budget, so how will you cope up with things such as buying them proper sanitizers? Because spreading awareness is not one such thing. People should obey those things.
Well, as far as talking about the budget, I do agree with you. Syria is still a developing country which has overcome the 9 years of war, and with the help of the neighboring countries and United Nations organizations, we are working on that, and sanitization has been taken one of the major things under the notice of the Syrian government. And talking about the food facilities, food have been provided to the people living in the people who are affected by the coronavirus, so that is not a major problem there.